supported from the coach. Still good enough?
Yeah, I don't really have anything. We're just like every year we're excited to get going, have all the confidence in the world and our staff and the student athletes in our program. Going to give our best effort and have a lot of fun, see where we're at, and just climb from there.
All right.
Cael, before we get started on the season, could you just recap the U23's to the program and what it means to the club?
Yeah, we had a lot of activity this summer in freestyle. 3 different world championships, the U20s, obviously the senior level, and U23s. And although it's a lot of competition and different training for different style, it's just those are the goals of young wrestlers, and so we want to be busy. We want to be traveling the world with them and helping them to reach their freestyle goals. And but yeah, having 7 guys in the U23 World Championships, obviously we kind of had to change our training a little bit, and we're maybe a little bit behind as far as prepping for the college season, but that's where our guys want to be, and it was fun for them to kind of travel together and go compete together. The guys wrestle great, but more important, it's all preparation and getting overseas and wrestling with guys from all over the world. I think it also helps our guys to just realize just how dang tough and good they are, and that they're as good as, if not better than everybody in the world. So, but yeah, it was great. Had some world champs. I think I saw Coach Cunningham tweet something where we had 15 of the 30 representatives across the country, in men's freestyle in those world championships. So that's pretty cool. And so we've got a really good young group of guys. Some awesome veterans. Obviously, Dwight Haynes had a great off season and jump levels again, which is what happens when you have this kind of mentality and enthusiasm and gratitude and just competitive nature. So, but yeah, a lot of our guys are also great, and I don't know if I answered your question, but that's a recap. But yeah, ready to roll. Easy.
Cael, so you have a lot of returning starters, but there's some weights that there might be some question about who your starters might be. Could you let us know what's going on at 41, 57 heavyweight?
Yeah, that's, I'm not going to give you any details. You guys know who's in there, and, we're just getting started, haven't even wrestled yet. So, we've had a few wrestle-offs, and we'll have just some planning, when you're planning now and the way teams are structured now with the, additional scholarships, you're going to have more depth and more competition. So you got to kind of figure out what's in the best interest of everybody. But yeah, we have a lot of really good guys in the league.
41,
Yeah, so 41. Yeah, I mean, you have. I think I saw something where they had like 10 guys listed in one weight, but obviously the gals at 41, and Davis is bumping up, and then you have Naz Dio, and I don't want to start listing names, but yeah, we have to play with potential red shirts in those different weights and trying to kind of move things around in a way that makes sense for each individual. And then if you don't have that opportunity, then you wrestle. That's the beauty of our sport, is you earn those positions. So, but yeah, 57 has some really, really good options there, and some, we feel like we have some of the best guys in the country, obviously there, and yeah, heavyweight with Cole Mirasola, and also Lucas Cochran. You see him. He's worked really hard to put on some size and some weight. So 2 really good guys that we feel very comfortable with that weight also.
Hey, Cael, thanks for the time today. What went into the decision to move Cochran up to heavyweight? Was that a depth, or was that to push Cole for the starting spot? And can you give us an update on Josh Barr, since he was banged up?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we never really told somebody, hey, go this way, do this, do that. I mean, Lucas was a guy who, has had a lot of opportunities. He graduated, and we were very grateful to see him come back, and it made sense for him to move up to heavyweight, just because of the depth that we have at 97 with Barr, and then, Connor Mirasola, two of the best guys in the country. So he looks good. He's tall. He's had success at heavyweight. If you remember, he's filled in there a few times, weighing probably around 200 pounds, maybe a little bit more at that time. So we have a lot of confidence in him. Obviously, Cael Mirasola made the U20 World Team. Wrestled great. Just very consistent. Obviously talented, has a history of success, and won a bronze medal, I believe, at the U23 World Championships. So yeah, two just really good, and they're just great people. They're really good friends. And, yeah, Barr, he, as you probably saw, he tweaked his rib in the scramble when he was trying to switch out of that takedown, and so yeah, it'll take him a little while to get back, but he's a tough dude, and you saw him come back from a pretty nasty injury at the Big Ten to make the finals of the national tournament. So a lot of that, I think, comes down to just doing things the right way, and we have the best trainer in the world. We don't like to compare people. I'm sure there's other great trainers, but we have a good trainer anybody in the world. And yeah, so Barr's just taking a little time, like any rib injury. You don't really know how annoying that is until you actually have one. So I used to kind of give guys a hard time when and then I had a rib injury, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand. Everything's twisting, and you're trying to breathe, and but yeah, he'll be. It's a short-term thing. He'll be good to go soon.
Cael, you touched on 133 there a little bit. Can you just give us a little bit more? What's the thought process there? What are you guys thinking with obviously Ono, and then you have Marcus Blaze as well, and then
Yeah.
Cael.
Yeah, all three. Kyson wrestled for us a few matches last year. Is just getting better as he goes along and gets more experience. And then Moss has been an incredible addition. Just the energy you see if you've seen him on social media or whatever. That's him every day. He just loves wrestling. Loves Penn State. Loves being here. He's done a phenomenal job in class. And just the amount of time he's had to put in it's been. And it's just great to see. He's just so he's a great kid, and obviously an unbelievable wrestler. Right now it looks like he's going to redshirt, but we'll if eligibility changes, then things might change. But as for now, that's kind of what they gave us. That's out there. The redshirt year eligibility right now. But the way things are changing in the NCAA, who knows? What might be the case. And obviously Marcus Blaze is just one of those guys. He's as good of a wrestler as he's ever been. He's a great kid, great person, tremendous competitor, and he's one of those guys we're going to say a lot. I think I say it a lot throughout the years that we're glad this guy's on our team. One of those deals.
Hey, Cael, you said that Levi jumped another level in the offseason. I guess, what does that specifically look like? What do you mean by that? What is the ceiling for him now after what he's done already this year?
Well, he's just a very grounded person, right? And, his self-worth doesn't come from his wins and losses, so that really gives him a lot of freedom to go out there and compete hard. And he's gotten bigger and stronger. Last year he wasn't big for the weight class. Now he's full size 174, and you saw him just win the U23 World Championships at that weight class, and took second in the seniors, which is really amazing. But yeah, he's he's just it's just little things. It's not, hey, this is different or that's different. His consistency has always been the same. He's always going to give a great effort, but when you have that kind of that growth, get better everyday mindset, then you're just going to see. So I don't think you're going to look at him and say like, wow, he's just this thing or that thing improved. It's just the whole picture. Just his hand fighting, his finishes, his strength, his size, everything's just continuing to improve.
Hey, Cael, you mentioned Ono a little bit ago. When did you know, and how does that recruitment process go about him coming here to Penn State? And now that he's here, just how is he adjusting to life in State College?
Yeah, I think he really likes it here. But I can't speak for him. It's just, but yeah, it was just one of those deals where he was scheduled that he was coming in here to train, and then it kind of it looked like I think he went to maybe our first match, or it wasn't our first match, but when he was here, he went to a match and kind of wanted to see if there was any way he could wrestle, and it just kind of went from there. And you know, it was a lot of work on his part to make it happen. But yeah, he loves folk style, right? He's spent spending that time trying to get better on the mat, which he's doing very well. That's just him, just being a competitor and just loving the sport. And, so yeah, he's a great wrestler, great energy, just a good person, and we're grateful that he's on our team.
Hey, Cael. So obviously you talked about all the key wrestlers that you had and all the key guys that will be starting this year, but for Friday, for the lineup, is it going to be what everyone expects it to look like, or will be there some changes, for the first goal of the season?
I don't really know what people are expecting, but we're still, like I kind of referenced earlier, we're just a few weeks out or from the U23 World Championships, where we had a bunch of guys wrestling in there. So we're not 100% sure what the lineup's going to look like. Or maybe we are. We just, there's no reason to put it out there, right? We'd rather our opponents scout 3 people than 1, kind of a deal. So it just doesn't make sense to say who's wrestling or who isn't. But yeah, we have a lot of guys. We'll be ready to go and excited to get on the mat for the first time. And yeah, I didn't really talk about all the different people in the lineup. I mean, you got guys like Mitchell. Well, he just won a world championship. You got Shane Van Ness is just an awesome wrestler, awesome person, just a guy that just competes in it's just fun to watch. And so you go up and down the lineup, and we have Rocco Welsh, here. He's been an awesome blessing to the program. Just fits right in. Really, really great positive energy. So yeah, a lot of good things going. A lot of good, just great energy with the program. I think really close team. So we're excited. We're happy.
I just want to pull the focus back to last March real quick.
Okay.
Over your career, you've put together a lot of really amazing sessions at the NCAA tournament. But to me, anyway, the Saturday session really stood out as something kind of special. And I was just wondering if there's anything you or the staff or the team did in preparation of that session, or maybe back-to-back or some disappointment on the the semis that led to that tremendous success that you had in that session.
Yeah, nothing that really stands out. I mean, we have Coach Cody and Coach Casey and Coach Nick Lee that are just as good as coaches get, and they the guys just decided to go out there and compete hard and finish strong, like you said. I mean, a lot of those guys were hoping and planning, expecting to win the nationals, but life doesn't always turn out the way you expect. So finishing third, there's a lot of honor in that, and bouncing back when you get knocked down, and they did a really an amazing job. And that was fun. And it's hard to coach because there were multiple matches going on at the same time. So you're here, and then you're watching the mat here, and just bonus points. And guys, I just think, that's one of the great things in sports is finishing third, right? Because you come back, and if you can finish third, you probably could have won. So you're dealing with the setback, but also that the integrity and the heart and the fight, and just there's things that are more important than winning and losing, right? And that's one of them, is just finishing strong and playing through. If you get knocked down, get back up. So yeah, that was we talked about that every once in a while. That was an amazing round, and something that we'll probably remember for a long time.
Cael, how is it for a coaching staff when you guys have what you have at 57? How difficult is it for you guys to maybe decide who's going to be your guy there?
I think it's just communication and just transparency. I mean, there's reality of sometimes guys have to wrestle off, and but people are coming to Penn State because this is the best place in the world to wrestle and the best place to see how good you can get in wrestling. And other people want the same opportunity, and that's just the way it's going to be. And everybody historically, when we think back, the guys that go win world titles and Olympic medals, they are usually guys that are surrounded by a lot of really good peers and training partners to feed off each other. You know, the best thing you can do for your teammate is, you know, kick their butt in practice, right? And force them to get better and vice versa. So, but yeah, it's just, you know, just communication, transparency. You know, our kids know that we're honest. They know that we're, you know, sport is sport. So, you know, at the end of the day, best guy goes. But, you know, also when you have the flexibility that you have in college sports now with red shirts and different opportunities, you know, we can be flexible. And you want guys that are team guys, right? You want guys that are willing to. Well, I mean, you know, Tyler Cael is a good example of that. I mean, he's one of the best wrestlers in the country. Absolutely love watching him wrestle. There's a good chance he's in redshirt this year, right? So, you know, I don't think that's a secret. He wrestled freestyle last week. That's a tough guy to redshirt, you know, because he is a beast, and he's a gamer. Bigger the match, the better he wrestles. But, you know, for the team, probably makes sense. Love to have him in 3 years too, right? So, you know, just kind of thinking through it and planning, and you know, there's a good chance Davis redshirts too. Now I'm just giving you the lineup, so all right. So I don't think that's. I think that stuff's probably well known, and the kids probably probably don't. You know, if it's they don't want it to look like they lost a wrestle off either, right? I mean, so we just didn't wrestle some of those weights off. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah. But so you know, the team. Kids that are looking at the team, that put the team first, are the kids that are probably going to be more successful in their lives, and you know, those values haven't changed, even though maybe, you know, winning and you know, getting something now, maybe that's always been part of the challenge of life, I guess. But you know, it's just put the team first. I always think, you know, you're gonna find your greatest self, and that's something that you know, we believe, and I think the kids that come to this program believe that also.
You said for a number of years that more and more high school kids are ready to step in collegiate when they come out. When you watch these guys, you know, Blaze, Duke, and a number of other guys around the country and elsewhere, when you see how they handle themselves internationally, where they win, where they lose, does that make the recruiting process any easier when you see how they conduct themselves?
Yeah, I think, you know, wrestling's unique in that you can kind of look at and you can see certain kids, if they're winning at a certain level, that they're probably going to win at the next level. You know, there's some sports where there might be 50 kids in a position and you're trying to pick and see who you can get, where wrestling it might be, you know, a smaller pool. So I think a lot of that is, and something that our coaches, and Coach Casey and Cody and Nick Lee, like the coaches, they're here for those kids. You know, the kids know that our staff is here for them. It's not about us, right? You know, it's just not the way it is, and our kids know that. So, and the point I'm trying to make is, you know, at a school like Penn State or in the world we live in today, I think managing expectations, pressure, stress is one of the bigger challenges to continue to jump levels and perform at the highest level, and just being the best you can possibly be. So that's something that, you know, Coach Cody and Casey and do an unbelievable job at, and they're the perfect example of a team player, because they could both be head coaches wherever they want, right? And they're here because they believe in what we're doing and believe in being a part of something bigger than an individual. And so you don't have to look far to look at our coaching staff, Coach Cody, Coach Casey, obviously Coach Nick Lee. Jake Barner could be coaching wherever he wanted. He's still coaching the Nittany Lions Wrestling Club. And you know, and the whole club, like, these guys could be anywhere they wanted to be if it was about them. But if it's about something being bigger than yourself, you know, that's what I think really is what it takes. Those are the roots for long-term, lasting success. And I think that's something, like, when you're recruiting, kids see that and they know. You know, there's no accidents. You know, you don't get to the top, you don't fall and land on top of the mountain, kind of a thing.
Cael, can you speak on the decision to go recruit someone like Rocco Welsh out of the transfer portal when it seemed like there were elite options for Penn State at the time? And then how has he adjusted since being in State College?
Yeah, very difficult couple days, and you just have to make a decision. And you know, he's a PA kid, and you know, he had a lot of interest in Penn State. Wrestles a style that, you know, we wrestle. He wrestles hard. He's tough. Obviously, and so made a decision to get him, and he's been a great blessing. I mean, he fits right in with our mentality. He's a very humble kid, just a very motivated, hardworking, obviously extremely talented, great competitor. So yeah, it's tough, you know, but it was a great decision. You know, we love him. He's great.
Hey, Cael, you talked about KSAC being a team guy, and a lot of teams, they look to their more older and more experienced wrestlers to be leaders, but for you, is there anyone in particular that might be, you know, people wouldn't think them to be a leader, or they're younger, but you see them as a big leader for your team?
Yeah, I think, I mean, Levi Haynes comes to mind. He's a great leader for us just because he's a great competitor, one, but he treats everybody with love and respect. He's a great kid, and you know, he makes good decisions, obviously in the room, outside of the room. And he's just a leader of men. You know, that's just he's a great person, and you know, he's one of those guys that you are kind of thinking like, oh man, you know, we only have Levi one more year, kind of a deal. So yeah, I think he's a great leader for us. Obviously, different people lead in different ways. And we have a lot of experience on the team. I mean, the way Shane leads, he's a great competitor, and he's going to give a great effort every time. Mitchell's, you know, he's a guy that's been here for a few years. But even a guy like Lucas Cochran, who is he's just a special guy. He could have gone somewhere else. You know, I'm sure he was getting recruited just like half the other guys on our team, and you know, trying to getting him to enter the portal and go to another program. He could have gone somewhere and probably gotten a lot of money, but he chose to, you know, I think take the higher path, I'd say the more excellent way, and stick with the program and give his best effort. And so I think that's that leadership. I mean, that's what we value. I mean, that's what we pride ourselves in as a program, is kind of trying to be different than everybody else, you know, or not everybody else, but be different than the kind of the worldly approach. And like Lucas is a great leader for us that way. He's, you know, he's a fifth year or maybe 6-year kid. I don't even remember with the COVID and this and that. It's been a weird couple of years. So Lucas has been a great leader for us as well. That yeah, so that's a few, and I'm probably leaving some guys out. But well, you know, you don't come to Penn State for the most part if that's not your mentality. If you're not a good dude.
Anyone else?
Cael, this isn't specifically just about Penn State, but Slippery Rock announced yesterday that they're going to be adding a Division I program, or looking to get back to Division I. Just talk about what that means for wrestling. Do you see, I mean, Pennsylvania has so many D1 teams already. Is that good for the sport as a whole to be able to add another program in the state?
I think it's great anytime they're adding a program, right? I mean, when you hear that a program's being over, since I've been involved in college wrestling, it's, you know, you've heard different programs being dropped for different reasons, and that's, you know, one of the worst things that you can hear. I mean, it's just the loss of opportunity. Obviously, as a sport, you know, it affects the whole area, you know, because you go wrestle beyond high school. You know, you're more experienced. You're going to be a better coach. You're going to be more locked into the sport, and a lot of different reasons. But yeah, I think it's awesome. You know, I think we need to probably do whatever we need to do to protect our sport too, right? Because with all the rules changing, and you know, we need to protect the programs that are just going to get beat up by other teams and coaches taking their guys, right? So there's just a lot going on. So you're kind of thinking about those things at the same time. But yeah, I think it's great news. Anytime you hear that a program is being added, that's awesome. We love it, and I'm sure anybody involved in the sport loves to hear that.
Cael, you touched on it last year a little bit with how good some of your guys were last year on last year's team. Looking back on it, was last year's team the best they've been since you've been here, and is there any chance that this year's team tops last year's?
Well, I think last year's team was pretty dang good, right? Yeah, it's just one of those years where, as a coaching staff, all you can do is screw things up. So you just try not to mess things up, you know. And that's I think there's a different challenge in whatever your team is, and you know, whatever your strengths, and you have different. I think we have a great mix this year of some young up and comers and some veterans. So you know, I mean, obviously that's a key to, you know, long-term success as a program. But last year, obviously, was last year. We had we loved it, had a great time, and was really happy to see the team, you know, reach the team goals, and then I guess set a scoring records. You know, that's a cool thing. Those aren't things you think about or worry about. You know, as a coaching staff, you're just thinking about each individual, and you know, how do you help them. You know, just make sure they're smiling when it's all said and done. That's kind of what it's all about. But yeah, you know, we're excited about this team, but we'll find out where we're at Friday, and we'll go from there.
Cael, can you speak on the national duels and with it going on and the decision to not be a part of that? Is that something that you'll reevaluate on a year-to-year basis if it continues? But why not be a part of that this time around?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's been a discussion since we got here and even before, and you know, we're going to do what's in the best interest of the kids on our team, right? I mean, we just had 7 guys wrestling World Championships 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So, but maybe in the future. I mean, when the person that was kind of, I think, sponsoring it, and Mike Moyer called, you know, I just said, yeah, create an event that everyone wants to be a part of, you know, and that we're asking you to be a part of, right? But yeah, it's you know, I think create big events. That's cool, and but yeah, I think they knew right away when they were putting it, when and where they're putting it. You know, we're probably not, because we're pretty consistent. You know, we haven't really changed a whole lot in that regard. You know, we love the national tournament the way it is right now. There's always been a kind of a push to move the team championship to a dual format, which we'd be fine at. You know, I mean, we do fine in duels, but we just love the format that it is now. And there's always, you know, these kind of these hidden motives, it seems. So we're just not really interested. We're always going to do what's in the best interest of our kids and our team. We're not going to, and that's my job, and that's what we're going to do, and that's what we did.
Cael, can you talk a little bit maybe about what Penn State does for the Center County community, as far as you've got probably just most local kids that will be on the roster in the 10 years that I've been covering the team now. So, you know, it's 2 from the local school here in State College, and then 1 from the Penn Valley area. Can you just touch about, you know, how maybe Penn State's helping maybe these kids have dreams of going to Division I, whether it be here at Penn State or, you know, other Division I schools?
Yeah, I haven't thought a whole lot about that. Obviously, it is kind of cool to see, you know, when we're not taking credit in any way, but when our kids were younger, we started this fitness and balance, and we had Nittany Lions Wrestling Club youth wrestling that was kind of a non-competitive, just a more recreational. And so we saw a lot of these guys when they were little kids, and they were in the wrestling room, and now a lot of them are wrestling in different places around the country. Which is pretty cool. You know, a guy like Nick Pavlechko is at Indiana. His dad, you know, is part of our staff. But it's just cool to see these guys have success. Obviously, the local guys. I mean, Asher Cunningham is, you know, the son of Casey, but he is, and Hayden. They're great kids, but they're really good wrestlers too, and they're getting better. And so, luckily for them, their mom was a great athlete. You know, she's an Olympic champion, if you don't know. So pretty awesome. But yeah, we want wrestling to grow in the area, and even just, you know, people see the value of wrestling. It's a great sport to put your kids in for a lot of different reasons. But it's you know, we have my son's starting high school this year, and we're going to be wrestling on the team. They have a great program, and Coach Nickel is putting a lot of effort in. He's, you know, we're really grateful for that. I don't know if I can talk about high school coaches and stuff, so if I'm not, then I'll get in trouble, whatever. But even M2, you know, Mark McKnight does an awesome job over there, and so, you know, really grateful for that. And you want everyone to kind of grow together, and you know, obviously we benefit from that, but you also want to benefit the community that you're in. That's kind of the name of the game, I guess. But yeah, it's cool to see all these guys have success, and even if they're not coming to Penn State, like you said, there's a lot of kids that are going to to really strong programs. And so Central PA wrestling's always been great. It's always been strong. So just want to keep that going best we can.
When you look at red shirts and lineups, is that something you enjoy doing when you have the depth that you do? You can kind of see this is where our team could look like 3-4 years down the road. And how has your philosophy kind of changed with the transfer portal? Maybe some eligibility changes coming down the line. How has your philosophy changed about when you utilize redshirting?
I think it's kind of just an individual-based thing and looking at the team. I don't know if the philosophy's really changed. It's kind of up, up to the individuals also, and then it comes down to, if you have to, compete for the spot, you do. So I don't know if anything's really changed. I mean, you just kind of keep trying to get the kids that fit our program, that have the right attitude, that love competing, and then those other things have worked out, and they tend to work out for us. So we'll just continue to do that. We'll continue to go after and recruit the kids that we feel fit into our program and what we value, and those things. They're not little things, but the other things we'll kind of work it out as we go along. And it's just not something you have set, really. Everything's different. Like Levi Haynes has another redshirt year, but he's planning on going, at least unless he changes his mind before Friday.
And off the back of that a little bit, with your fairly sizable incoming class of highly touted wrestlers, how does that make your decision making more difficult with obviously the start of the season this week, but also in handling them and their red shirts moving forward?
Yeah, it's a good question, and the way they changed the rules, so red shirts can't compete unless they're part of your, that's made things kind of challenging. It's kind of a strange rule, I think, if there's open tournaments they could be going to. And in our experience, kids do better when they're busy and they're engaged and they have things to do that are constructive. But yeah, it's just, I think it's the same message. It's just, hey, just get as good as you can get, right? And those other things are just going to work themselves out, right? I mean, if you're a true freshman, for the most part, when we've been able to, we've redshirted the true freshmen and given them a chance to just develop, because they're probably going to be better in a year than they are right now, unless we mess them up somehow. But we try not to do that. So, but sometimes we feel kids are ready to go. We've had a lot of success with true freshmen. So I think it's just more based on the situation and the individuals and what you have going on there. But I think the message is just, hey, you just get to be the best wrestler you can possibly be, and everything else will work itself out.
You got time for two more? Travis?
Cael, you mentioned your assistants, and they've been around obviously for quite a while. Why do you think you've been able, or how have you been able to keep the band together, so to speak, all these years? And why do you think maybe Casey or Barner haven't been drawn to other kids? Maybe head coaching terms.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to bring that up because maybe they haven't thought about it. But I know they get recruited. Pretty much every year people are calling, and some of the best jobs in the country have basically said, what's it going to take to get here, and they've been really loyal to. So I don't know. I just think we work well together, and they have a lot of flexibility, and I've heard Clay Stedman, who's our general manager, who's been an incredible hire. He's done a phenomenal job. Couldn't be any better at his job in building relationships with the kids and going out and helping build relationships with different businesses and trying to provide opportunities for our kids. Does an awesome job. But I've heard him say that we have the 3 best head coaches in the country, and I think I would not argue that. If one of them isn't, it's definitely me. So
I think he meant Nick. And
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I'm the 4th, which is fine. We just want to take care of our guys, and obviously our administration's helped us to take care of our staff. To let them know that they're valued and that we care about them, and so Pat Kraft and Rick Kaluza have helped a lot in that regard, especially recently, and it's been pretty cool. But yeah, I'm just grateful they're here, and they love it, and obviously the kids love them, and they're the perfect example of, well, why do you come here? Well, like, why haven't they left? You know, there's something special. I mean, we're a very blessed program. We know that, and we think we know why, but you know, it's, you know, not something that, you know, we're going to talk about, or, you know, something other people probably overlook. But it's those little things, just, you know, just doing your best, being honest, treating people the right way, and it's about them, not about our coaches, and help kids reach their goals, and everything works out.
All right, we will do 2 more. Go ahead, and then we'll finish with Jim.
Yeah, just a name I don't know if it's come up yet is Luke. Seems like he's obviously has all the talent in the world. He's won 3
Yeah.
age
He's
level
won a lot of world
championships
championships, yeah.
Yeah. What have you seen him do in the off season or in the freestyle season to take things to the next level for the college season?
Yeah, well, Lightning Luke is, yeah, he competes, and he just keeps getting better. He loves to compete. As you saw, he wrestled in a ranking series tournament overseas in July, and he won, which is the senior level guys. Obviously, he jumped, took second in the U.S. at the senior level. Just had a great U.S. Open. Just won a world title, obviously, a couple weeks ago. But just, again, one of those just awesome people. Great competitor. A guy that we're very, very excited to have lead us off. And yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say, because I can't really do justice to just the kind of competitor and person Luke is. But he just loves wrestling, loves competing, and he's a student of the game, so he keeps improving, and he loves to compete. I mean, you just put those things together, and that's what you get, right? Very athletic, very fast, but yeah, he's a special one.
All right, Jim, wrap us up.
Yeah, just wondering what you know about the Oklahoma team coming in, and if that'll be a home series.
Yeah, I think it is a home and home. Some of those details are we were just discussing. I don't know if it's at their place or a neutral site or something, but yeah, they have a strong team. I think they had a lot of success in the transfer portal. Picked up like 5 or 6 really good quality guys. So it's going to be a good test for us, and there's going to be some big matches in there. And you know, obviously Oklahoma is one of the traditional powerhouses in the sport of wrestling. So we're excited. Yeah, you know, Coach Mark Hall is on their staff, and so yeah, we got to be ready to go.
All right, Cael.